In this tutorial, you will learn the basics of how to enter records by hand into the daily log screen in SnapPlus. You can also import records from a spreadsheet like Excel. To review that method, watch the daily log import video. Note that the example for this video is a farm that does not need a WPDES permit. WPDES permitted farms, or CAFOs, have additional requirements for the daily log, but the process is generally the same. The daily log can be used to update planned applications to actual applications for manure, fertilizer, lime, and grazing. First, let's take a general look at the daily log screen. Applications are entered for each crop year and have the same navigation tools used on other SnapPlus screens. There are 4 tabs, one for each type of application: manure, fertilizer, lime, and grazing. For this example, we will enter data for manure applications and view all the fields. At the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can choose to view one field at a time or show all the fields for that crop year. Select the crop year you'd like to work in. We're going to work in 2014. We're going to add a row by clicking on the plus sign. A new row will be added with the crop year filled in. You can adjust the date by either typing directly into the cell or clicking on the cell and then onto the calendar. Next, check the season for application. The season defaults to the calendar date. However, it should reflect the conditions of the application, not necessarily the date. For example, if the application was made in the fall and the ground was frozen, the SnapPlus default setting would be fall. You would need to change it to winter. Next, select the field where the application was made. If the area where the application was made is smaller than the field, you can type the acreage in directly. You cannot type in an area that is larger than the field's acreage. Next, select the nutrient source. To enter the amount of manure applied, you have 2 choices. You can enter by loads or by rate. Let's do our first example using loads. The first thing you need to do is to enter the spreader's volume. For a liquid spreader, note that the tank is usually not filled to capacity. Then, enter the number of loads. On this field, 20 loads were spread. If you don't know the number of loads, but know the total amount of manure that was applied, you can click on the ellipsis, and a dialog box will open, allowing you to enter the total amount. For this example, let's enter 180,000 gallons. SnapPlus will calculate the new number of loads. Now let's do an example using the rate method and solid manure. First, click on Rate. Then add a new row by clicking on the plus sign. The new row is a duplicate of the last one entered with the rate and load section set at 0. First, let's change the date. Then check to make sure the season's correct, and then select the field. Since we're doing solid manure, we'll have to select a different manure source. Next, enter the volume of the spreader. The spreader we used in this example has a volume of 3 tons. Note that the volume or capacity of the spreader should come from an actual spreader calibration, not the manufacturer's rating. Enter the spreading rate next. This spreader calibration was done at 9 tons per acre. The loads were calculated by SnapPlus. The last column to enter is application method. There are 3 choices: surface, incorporated, and injected. Let's fill in for the last example also. Click on the notes box if there's any other notes or additions that you'd like to make to this entry. Once the applications have been entered for the crop year, you will need to add them to your field applications in the Nutrient Application Planner. There are 2 choices for sending applications: unchecked and send all. Let's start with unchecked only. This will enter any new applications. A dialog box will appear and ask you if you'd like to replace the planned applications with the same field, crop year, season, and source. Click Yes. A dialog box will confirm how many entries were made. If you click No, the log entries will be added, but you may have planned and actual applications entered. Once the confirmation window is closed, you can see that the check marks were added. Now you know that those are in the Nutrient Application Planner. Let's check there to make sure. Click on the Cropping tab, then go to the crop year and click on a cell with an application. Manure applications that have been transferred from the daily log appear in the Nutrient Application Planner in bold italics. You can check here to make sure your applications are correct. Applications can be deleted by clicking on the row and then clicking on the minus sign. Any planned applications can be edited or deleted here. Note that applications added using the daily log can be deleted but not edited in the planner. They can only be edited back in the daily log. Uncheck the Added box. It will ask you if you'd like to remove the log row from the SnapPlus applications for editing. Click OK. Now you can re-edit any information in that row and then send it to applications using the Unchecked Only selection. Okay, now that we're back in the daily log, remember there was another choice for sending applications. When you click on Send All and Send to Applications, it will ask if you'd like to replace all previously submitted daily log applications. If you click Cancel, nothing will happen, but you can click OK and a new dialog box will open. In this box, you have some options. First, you'll be able to select planned manure applications and/or biosolids and the corresponding season or seasons for that crop year. At the bottom of the box, your selection will be written out for you to confirm. Once you hit OK, a new dialog box will appear, confirming what entries have been replaced. Remember, you can always double-check your results in the Nutrient Application Planner. The daily log can be a useful tool for entering completed applications. The same process applies to other tabs for fertilizer, lime, and grazing. For more on the daily log, check out our other videos on snapplus.wisc.edu.